the Bhagavad Gita. We're going to go through the whole thing. At least start from chapter 1, verse 25 onward. This particular book is a commentary by Swami Chidbhavananda. I'll leave a link down in the description below of a book very similar to this. I don't think you're going to find this exact book anywhere. This is a very old book. The reason why I love this book so much is because it has the Sanskrit word for word translated into English, and then underneath that is the smooth English translation. So in no way are we going to miss any details because of the translation that has to fit within English grammatical systems. As I'm reading it, I'm going to have the verse posted next to my head. And what is the background before we get into the Bhagavad Gita? What is happening? This book is a small part of a very large event called the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is essentially a war between the family. A deal went wrong, a gamble went awry. The Pandavas, 5 brothers, one of which is Arjuna, our main character, is sent away from their rightful kingdom. And in their place, Duryodhana, their uncle, and all of his sons, he has like hundreds of sons. This guy's been busy. They took their place while they were in exile, the Pandavas. And when they came back, they were like, can we have back our keys? We fell through on our end of the deal. Can you fall through on yours? And after they asked, they said no. Tough. It's been many years. We're established here. You ain't going to have what we promised you. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, God in human form interacting with the world, goes to Duryodhana, says, this is a dharma. You cannot do this. You're not following through with your word. Duryodhana says, I don't care. I know. I want to do it anyway. And with that, diplomacy has left the building and war has entered. Krishna offered a boon to both sides of the conflict. Krishna offered his entire army to Duryodhana's side and himself to the Pandavas, to Arjuna, as Arjuna's charioteer and a war counselor. Arjuna was very happy to accept that over the army. And here's where we begin. Right before the war is about to kick off, when both sides are lined up ready to fight, and Arjuna asks Krishna, I want to see the other side. I want to see for myself. It's important to note that the reason why we have this conversation and the events within the Bhagavad Gita recorded is because Sanjaya has divine eyes and from a very far distance was able to, like a camera, see the conversation unfolding between Krishna and Arjuna. So all commentary that is not particularly their words is Sanjaya's words. With that said, let's begin. Chapter 1, verse 25. Sanjaya said, facing Bhishma and Drona and all the rulers of the earth spoke. Krishna said, O Partha, behold all the Kurus gathered together. Standing there, Partha then beheld in both the armies paternal uncles, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, cousins, sons, grandsons, comrades, fathers-in-law, and benefactors. He, the son of Kunti, gazing at those kinsmen posted in position, spoke thus in sadness, felt as if he was with choking compassion. Arjuna said, seeing these my kinsmen collected here, prompted by war, my limbs fail me, O Krishna, and my mouth is parched up. My body quivers and my hair stands on end. The bow Gandhaiva slips from my hand and my skin burns all over. I am unable to stand. My mind swirls as it were. In Kasava, I see adverse omens. Arjuna is having a full-blown panic attack. This is pure anxiety going on right now. He knows who he's fighting in his mind. We all know who we are in our mind, but we don't know who we really are until the conflict is at our door. It's around the corner. It's in front of us. When the nervous system is engaged with the experience, it's no longer an intellectual exercise. It's here. It's now. The problems that you're just thinking about and fantasizing about is no longer a fantasy. Boom, it's in front of you. What are you going to do? Who are you in this moment? And Arjuna is finding out who he is in the moment of this immediate in this problem. He's a warrior. He's fought many people. He's a killer. But this is a unique situation, a situation that maybe he wasn't prepared for. A man of many accolades actually is finding himself very weak in this situation. He then goes on to say something very interesting. Chapter 1, verse 31. I do not foresee any good ensuing from the slaughter of kinsmen in battle, O Krishna. I hanker not for victory or empire or pleasure even. Of what avail to us is kingdom or enjoyment or even life, O Govinda? Those for whose sake we seek kingdom, enjoyment, and pleasure, they stand here in battle, staking life and property. Teachers, fathers, sons, as well as grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives. Though myself slain by them, I would not, O Mahasudana, seek to slay them even for the sake of domination over the three worlds. How then for this earth? Whoa, a complete shift. A complete shift from saying, take me up that hill, I want to see both armies for myself, Sri Krishna, to panic, to anxiety, to there's a whole logic. Why should we engage in this? He's using intelligence and logic to make sense of his emotional plight. And we'll see this logic unfold, and we'll come to a very familiar conclusion that we all do when faced with adversity. Remember, Arjuna is us. Arjuna is very relatable in this world. We continue on. Chapter 1, verse 36. What delight can we derive, O Janardana, by doing away with these sons of Dhritarashtra? Sin only will accrue to us by slaying these felons. We should not therefore slay the sons of Dhritarashtra, our kinsmen, for how are we, O Madhava, killing our own kinsmen, be happy? Although these with understanding clouded by greed see no guilt in extermination of a family, no crime in hostility to friends, why should we not learn to recoil from such a sin, O Janardana, we who see evil in destruction of a family? Arjuna's making a good point here, right? He's saying we see the evil that they are committing, then why should we commit that same evil? If we're being attacked and aggressed upon and innocent lives are being killed in the process, should we be the quote unquote bigger person? Is that the right logic here? There is a logic to that. Whether or not that's the right one is there's a whole reason why there's 18 chapters in this book. but he has a logic and it's developing. So we'll keep going. In the decline of a family, its time-honored usage perish. With the perishing of sacred rites, impiety overtakes the entire family. With the growth of impiety, O Krishna, the family women become unchaste, and women getting corrupted, O Varshne, caste and mixture ensues. Hell is verily a lot of the family, and the family destroyers through caste and mixture, for their ancestors fall deprived of offerings and libations. The everlasting caste virtues and the family merits get ruined because of the caste confusion created by bad deeds of the family destroyers. We have heard, O Janardana, that hell is verily the long-lasting abode of the men whose family religious practices have been broken. Interesting. Arjuna is making the case that this act has a larger domino effect. Arjuna sees within this grand logic that he's developed this ultimate consequence that will only degrade the society for a long time. Very intelligent, looking far into the future of their actions, how our actions can ensue this great pain that hasn't happened yet, and we have no way of knowing how it's going to happen. A logic is there. Is it practical within the world? Now, Arjuna has a good insight on society. What is he saying when he says when the women get corrupted? Essentially, To know the heartbeat of a society, you should take the heartbeat of the women in it. A man can go in and conquer, set up borders, protect the land, keep some peace for a time. But what's the quality of that peace? How long is that going to last? You ask the women there. We all know through correlative data, technological advancements, health and wellness in a society directly correlated with the sovereignty and power of women. In my mind, Arjuna's making a good case here in the scope that he's using, but not in the scope that Krishna will use later. Goaded by the greed of the pleasures of a kingdom, we are, alas, bent on perpetrating the great sin of killing our kinsmen. Should the sons of Dhritarashtra with weapons in hand slay me, unresisting and unarmed in the battle, that would indeed be better for me. Whoa. Sanjaya said, so saying, overwhelmed with sorrow in the battlefield, Arjuna sat on the seat of his chariot, abandoning his bow and arrows. So, recap. Arjuna, Krishna, take me up that hill. I want to see them bad Dhritarashtra boys. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to see them out. I'm going to look over. I'm going to survey, maybe develop some tactics. Goes up there, damn, anxiety, panic attack. Having a panic attack, having anxiety, but you're a great warrior. Something must be wrong. And now you see where the logic is coming from. The logic is coming from the disparity between who he thinks he is and the reality of his reaction when faced with a particular problem. Something that people do all the time. I bet most of us do it when it comes to certain situations that we can't readily explain in the moment, in the heat of something happening. The world is demanding from him right now. War is about to kick off, and he is feeling this way. He has a job to do, and the reason why at the end he's sad is because he knows that deep down. He actually knows that deep down. All this logic that he said, if he really did believe in this stuff, if he was like, this is solid logic, I'm cool with it. You know what, Krishna? Let's go back down that hill and let me just back off. Let me just take a rest. I don't want to fight, and I'm cool with it. I'm not going to do my duty. Then then the logic has, at least he's following it. At least in his mind, he's clairvoyant, but clearly he's not buying even what he's saying. He knows it's an excuse. That's why he's sad at the end. And realistically, it's ultimately the reason why this whole book keeps going. He knows it's insufficient. Sounds good, sounds great. And what are we learning from this chapter alone is that logic and intellect can hurt you. Logic and intellect can be sound, can make sense within a scope, but maybe that scope is unfounded, not useful, and completely devoid of the principles and the actual intentions and goodwill of an individual. He's not seeing the long game. The long game is the rest of this book. But yeah, let's, as we read this book, I want people to understand, don't be like Krishna. Be more like Arjuna. And we'll get to why that is later. He's going through it. He's having a process. Let him have that process because it's definitely going to lead to something great. Logic and intellect is fantastic tools, but it should not rule who you are as an individual and does not dictate the scope as to what ought to be done for the greater good of everyone else. This is the Hindu Conceptualist, signing out.